What's going on, everybody? Matt Weik here with Jimmy Mentis. Another episode of Fit Business. Jimmy, what's new?
We are here again,
We are
2 for 2,
back to back.
back to back. We said we're gonna film, and we actually are filming. It's not like, hey man, I can't do it. Hey man, it's is it always me pushing it the next day and the next day?
Yeah.
Okay, appreciate that.
But hey, you know what? Let's talk Olympia.
Oh, you're getting right into it, huh?
Yeah, let's just get right into it. I mean,
All right.
we're already late to the game with talking about the Olympia, but you and I, we wanted to kind of digest everything. Obviously, you were there, I was not, but we saw a lot of recaps. We saw people talk about things that have happened, things they liked, things they disliked, whether it's competitor related, venue related, Olympia production related. I mean, there's so many things that we can talk about. So obviously, you were there. So let's start with you. What was it like not being in Vegas and actually being in Orlando?
All right. Do you want me to tell you what time it is, or you want me to build you a watch first?
I don't care. Surprise me.
For what, and it sounds cliche, for how it came about, I think the Olympia in Orlando was amazing. But there were a lot of red flags for me, which
Why?
red flags always existed in the Olympia. Okay. Well, let's go back. How did the Olympia end up in Orlando?
Well, I mean, that was a crazy.
I called that in March.
You know what?
March. Remember, I told you that. I was telling everybody, don't waste your time. Dan, don't waste your time. Pull it, do something, find a way, to get out of there, because the way it's going, you're not going to have it. You're not going to have it done in Vegas. And I kind of like that it went to Orlando. I like Orlando better than Vegas, but it doesn't have this prestige. Okay. The Olympia, either it's in Vegas or it's somewhere mystique, like prestige, right? You put in Orlando, it's the Orlando Orange County Convention Center. Dude, I had the Border Clash. I had the Clash series there. The same place, right? So you have the Olympia, you have the Border Clash, then the Nationals were there, right? If you put that aside, I think Orlando is a great place. Now, how was the Orlando? I think it was very well organized. Okay. And I think it was well organized, not because it wasn't as big as it used to be, okay, from the previous year or the years before, but it was very well organized. And the only people that I saw there were true bodybuilding and fitness fans. It was like a little homecoming, or a little get together of all the, how can I say it? Like, it's like we knew everybody. There was
who's who.
Yeah, it wasn't, there was no tourists there, or they're like people who came to Orlando to see the Olympia, stayed in the hotel and saw the Olympia. And, it was the first time for the Miss Olympia, which is phenomenal. I don't know how long that's going to last, but it was good. It was good to see, man, those girls were big, those girls were big, and it's good to see them back. And, and it was, I liked it. I don't know on the business side, because, we're here to talk about the business side, how effective it was, or will it be as profitable as they want it to be in the upcoming years, wherever it's going to be. I think there definitely needs to be some kind of reevaluating on all levels of this production.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder if they were in the hole at the end of the day between switching venues in Vegas,
right,
and then canceling Vegas, quick having to book in the Orange County Convention Center, and then get everybody there. You have people who potentially might not have went out. Like I haven't spoken to Dan, so I don't know how the attendance actually was. I mean, you were there. You were right up front. When you turned around, was it slammed or were there empty seats?
let's put it this way. I'm a really good numbers guy, and I can see, um, I could just see. They, I, I know. I guarantee you, they lost money. Okay, but I have to tell you, on the other end, they gained a lot of fans
Why?
because they pulled it off.
Oh, because it was we're gonna make it happen.
No, yeah. Not only did they make it happen, it was a really happy time. I don't know, because of Ramy showing up, Big Ramy showing up, like solid, okay? And it was because people love him, man. People love him, you know. It was just very well organized, but because they couldn't sell, they didn't have enough time to sell the tickets. Well, don't forget how many people have made arrangements to go to Vegas,
Yeah.
air flights, hotels, and this and that, right? And all of a sudden, they had to cancel. I don't think last minute they're gonna, like, you know what, we're gonna go to Orlando. They just said, screw it, we're not going, right?
Yeah. There were some people who actually just still went to Vegas and didn't go to Orlando. They already had everything booked,
Yeah,
hotel, flight, all accommodations. And I know that, I mean, I saw pictures. They just went to Vegas,
yeah.
made it a little mini vacation. Now,
You know
the
what?
one thing I will say from
Yeah.
my vantage point, since I wasn't there, I think one of the big points of contention here was all of the restrictions with COVID. Like if I went, I would have to get tested before I came home. And the second caveat to that is the timing. I really wish they wouldn't have made it the week before Christmas.
Yeah.
You already have people who are going to be traveling to see family. You know, they don't want to be running around the week before Christmas when everything's already hectic and chaotic. I would have liked to see them either push it, you know, a week earlier. But I mean,
I
I
don't
know they
I don't
stretched
know
it
if
out
it
as
was
far as they
available.
could.
I don't know if it was available. See, I
That's
didn't ask
probably
Dan,
why.
yeah, I didn't ask Dan those questions. These are questions I don't want to, hound him with. I was supporting him in anything he needed, and You know, I was just, hey, if you need anything, I'm here. If you need anything, I'm here. If you need anything, I'm here. I was just there for him, whatever he needed. He really didn't ask me for anything.
Well, you know what? I don't think Dan gets enough credit for a lot
Yeah,
of this. Dan could have very easily called up Jake and been like, "Hey, let's just wash our hands of it, and we'll come back 2021." So I think it shows Dan's leadership of saying, "No, we're going to make this happen. Like this is our Super Bowl, and you don't cancel the Super Bowl bodybuilding."
well, let me tell you something, and I'm going to actually say this on air. Um, Once I heard that the Olympia is being moved to Planet Hollywood, right? I called Dan and I said, "You're a hero. This is your time if you want to shut it down because of COVID and not lose, was it 4 million, $5 million. This
Right.
is your time," because we didn't know what was happening, right? So I and I want to say this because he basically looked at me and says, "You're out of your mind. I'm pushing through." Right? And he literally looked back at me and he goes, "You're out of your mind." And I'm looking at it as a business. I'm leaving my emotions, as like I was telling you before we started filming, right? I'm really good in black and white. I just took all my emotions out and I said, "This is a business decision." Everybody was very excited about the Olympia now is moving to Planet Hollywood. We finally, with all this coronavirus and this and that, we're moving to Planet Hollywood, right? Dan, Tamer, everybody, the whole team, Jake, they're all heroes. They all made the move. I remember the post. It was crazy. That was a good time to turn around and say, "Hey guys, we got to cancel the Olympia," because they made that positive, they made that move, they made that jump, right? I was afraid that this positive jump, would have turned around and just sank, you know, like Planet Hollywood, Planet Hollywood, Planet Hollywood, Planet Hollywood, canceled, right? But Dan, he's like, you're out of your mind. And his team pushed through. And then I got word that they were moving it to Orlando, because we have the same connection at the Hyatt. And I was really excited. I was very excited. And I think
Yeah.
Orlando, to me, I think Orlando should be a place for the Olympia, okay? Because people go to Vegas and sometimes they only go to one show. They only go to the men's finals. And then the other nights they're out clubbing, they're out watching a show, they're doing other things. There's too many distractions. Vegas is a good excuse to Olympia is a good excuse to go to Vegas. And that's why they use that.
That's
But
true.
do you know how many people I know go to Vegas for the Olympia and they'll go to any shows and they go to the expo?
Mm.
People who want to come to the Olympia in Orlando will come to Orlando for the Olympia, and they can bring their kids because there's so many other things to do around here.
Yeah.
It's not clubbing. You're not coming home, to the hotel 4 o'clock in the morning and all that good stuff. So I think it's wise for them to keep it here. But did you see that? Did you watch the pay-per-view?
I did not. We had some family stuff going on. I completely missed it. Now I saw a few people taped it
Mm-hmm.
and they put some highlights up and sent me stuff. So I saw basically the men's finals,
Right.
but I didn't get to see it the night of the event.
Yeah. The show, the production was amazing. It was really good. I think there were some things they could have done. They had these big monitors right next to the guys and the girls on stage. Like Bob Ciccarello was right in front of this big. I'm sure you saw it. I don't even know how big it was. But the bad part about it is they had all these monitors, these big screens, right? But right next to the stage, they had these two screens that during prejudging, when the camera was zooming in on the body parts, when you have a big screen, you see all the flaws. You don't
Right.
see definition. You see the tan is streaking. You see zits. You see your pimples. You see all that stuff, right? So to me, it was a very distracting at the prejudging. And I was going to say something, but at the finals, I think they caught it. Someone said something, and they caught it, and they took the two monitors down and they used them for promotion, like the ads, the sponsorships and stuff like that. And then on the other ones, they used one. I think one was the pay-per-view, and the other one was for the shows. So that was a good. They caught that right away. I think the stage was a little too long. Again, I'm saying these negative things, but this is what they had to deal with. This is the only thing they had to make this happen. But I think they could have done a little better job on the expo. They could have, instead of just throwing some booths there and a red carpet, I think they could have done something a little more. They could have brought other, how can I say it, the outside vendors in, right? There was nowhere to eat. There was no food.
Wow.
And again, I don't know, was it COVID, right? There was no food. Prejudging, the finals, there was no water. There was nothing, even at the finals.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so there was nothing. Everything was closed. So
So how do you think this fared compared to AMI? Obviously, AMI, they had the money and the financial backing to do whatever they wanted with it. I don't think anyone was ever super thrilled with what they brought. It was just kind of the status quo because it's what we were used to. But now that we had Jake come in here and buy the Olympia from AMI, could you tell a
yeah,
difference?
yeah, it was a great difference. It was a much better difference. And you said something about the funding. AMI probably had Dan on a short leash.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, Jake is passionate. Jake at some point probably just told Dan, say, hey, listen, this is your budget. You got 10% up or 10% down, but this is your budget, right? And Dan made it happen. And the rest of the crew. So it probably didn't nickel and dime him, right? And especially now that everything had to switch over to Orlando, I'm sure they had to dig a little deeper into their pockets, right, to make this happen. So that's what I'm saying. I go back to the Olympia lost money. The Olympia lost money, but they gained a lot of fans, like and respect. I finally met Jake. What a great guy. Quiet guy. Well, to me, he was quiet, so I don't know. He might be a party animal, but you know, you can tell that this weekend was very homey. Like if you were a fitness fan, a bodybuilding fan, you belong there. It was good. You know, did you, from pictures and videos, did you have Big Ramy winning?
I did. And here's the funny thing.
Really?
I got messages from so many people because of this. I mean, as a writer, I put out predictions sometimes months in advance. Sometimes I go up, maybe a few weeks before the show. And I was consistent. And I literally gave it to Ramy. I said, if he doesn't do it this year, I'll never ever believe anything that he says going into a show. Obviously, leading up, he did the whole winter is coming at the press conference and stuff like that, and all this hype. And you had Dennis James and Chad Nichols, saying, "Hey, look, this is the best we've ever seen Ramy." And I'm sitting here going, "I've heard this bullshit every year." And then he comes and he misses his mark. He shows us pictures out at in Kuwait. He looks great, he looks big, whatever. And I'm thinking, wow, he looks amazing. And then he gets to the States and he jumps on stage and you're going, no, he doesn't look hard. He doesn't look as defined as he did weeks prior when he took shots from the gym or at the mirror or whatever for his coaches and stuff. But once he walked out on stage and I saw the video, and let's be honest, being there and watching it on a screen is drastically different. So when you're looking at it on a computer screen or on a television at home, the definition's not there.
It's even different from the second row to the 20th row.
Oh, I bet. The 20th row is probably like my perspective from the TV. And when he walked out on my screen, I went, holy shit.
Right.
And I'm thinking, there's no way that he came in this conditioned. And as he started hitting his shots,
yeah. Was the holy shit when Ramy walked out, or was the holy shit when you saw everybody else and then you saw Ramy with them?
The first one was when he came out by himself. But then even when he did, side by side,
right?
When you looked at the prejudging and when you looked at the night show, I mean, let's be honest. Ramy is the biggest guy on stage that night.
He was double the size of everybody.
I mean, it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Now, and that's not being disrespectful to the other guys. No. I mean, Ramy's just a freak.
He was a big boy.
But he hit his conditioning for once.
He could have been better.
That was the best Ramy that we've ever seen to date.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
Absolutely.
Is that the best Ramy that we'll ever see? I don't think so. I mean, I think there are some things that he could have worked on, but let's be honest too. They brought him in early, but what if he would have came even earlier?
Right.
I mean, you could say the same thing about Hottie. I'm a huge Hottie fan.
Right.
But coming in like what was it, 2 days before?
Yeah.
He was supposed to step on stage, or he came in Thursday night and he had to jump on stage for prejudging on Friday.
Right.
If he didn't have that water weight, I actually, even without him losing the water weight, I had him in front of Phil.
So who were your top 5?
I had Ramy winning the whole time.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, without a doubt.
Okay.
Brandon, I'd like to say that he was better than last year, but I really didn't think so. And I like Brandon.
Who were your top 5?
All right.
And then I'll ask the questions.
All right. So
You
how
got
I
Rami
would have
first?
had it, if I would have had it Rami
Yeah.
first,
Okay.
I would have actually had Hottie second.
Okay.
And people are going to disagree. And then I would have had Brandon, and then Phil,
Okay.
and then Bonac.
Okay. And that's what you saw.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what I saw. We're talking about Big Ramy, right?
Yep.
I had Phil.
Winning?
Let me finish.
Oh.
They all came out. First of all, when Big Ramy came out, we were like, holy shit. Like when he was walking, you could just see the mass. Now, until he stopped to flex, we were all looking at, because sometimes you just hit that relax and then you're just disappointed because you look better walking towards the center, right? And he's coming in, and all of a sudden we're like, holy shit. I remember I grabbed Tammy's arm. I'm like, he did it. Holy shit. Right? And then he hits his relax. I'm like, this is it. Right? But Phil came out. Now you got Big Ramy, and then you got Phil. And Phil, to me, sure, his abdominals, and again, that's not something that he has control of now, right? I heard that's something that it's permanent, right?
It's the mesh.
Yes.
The mesh layers that he got.
Yes. Right. So he's doing his best he can, right? But Phil has this quality about him, right? And to me, he was more complete. And let me tell you where I saw he was more complete. He had the double bicep, okay? Even though he's a lot smaller. He had the double bicep, he had the side chest, he had the front lat spread. Where he got Ramy was in the back double bi. Because Ramy, from his middle of his back to the top of his ass, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Okay? There was nothing there. So I'm thinking now, overall, right? As a package, Phil's going to win this. Okay? I had Hottie in there, but there's something about Hottie's physique that is unpleasant. I don't know. Is it his beard? I'm talking about physique and his beard. I don't know what it is, but I love his physique. But there's something that's unpleasant. There's something there. I don't know if it's the lower.
He's more blocky.
Right. See, here's the thing. I don't know if he's blocky on the waist or is it his quad teardrops. If it was his quad, his quads. Sure, my mind just went blank. If it's his quads, his teardrops are just squared. You see what I'm saying? He doesn't have that sweep, right? So they come straight down and boom, boom, right? So, and then Brandon for me doesn't belong on the Olympia stage. I got to be honest with you. His upper body does. And then he found a way to pose his legs on he threw his leg out on the double bicep, and on the front lat spread on the front toe, because that gives the inner thigh that illusion, right? But the thing is, he kept forgetting the other leg to flex, and it looked like a stick, right? I'm not saying he's not a great bodybuilder, but to me, those legs don't belong in the top 5, period, especially from the back. Didn't belong. Now you want to make your upper body a little smaller, that might work, but his upper body is phenomenal. If he had another 3-4 inches on those legs, front and back, unbeatable, right?
Yeah.
So am I talking too much?
No.
Okay. So you got prejudging. Now you got Big Steve, the head judge, drilling Big Ramy, Phil, Brandon, right? Brandon, Phil, Big Ramy. Big Ramy, Phil. I mean, we're talking back and forth. Phil was going flat.
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing I saw in Big Ramy, dude, this is where I knew he was ready. Okay. His attitude on stage was aggressive, loving. He was empathetic.
Yeah.
And he was so professional. He was the first one going into every pose.
Yep.
And he was the last one coming out of the pose. He was so confident that he said, "Here I am. Look at me." You couldn't deny him that.
Right.
Right. And after 4, 5, I don't know how many comparisons, Ramy still looked the same and harder. And
Yeah.
everybody just disappeared. And that was it for me. Because going into the night show, the finals, I had Big Ramy winning it. I didn't know if I had Phil. I got to tell you, I didn't know what was going to happen after first, right? But just like you, I would have had Heidi second. I would have had Phil third. I would have had William fourth, and I would have had Brandon fifth. Because to me, like I said, those legs don't belong there. They don't. They don't. We're looking at complete, and everybody was in shape. Okay, maybe William wasn't as ripped as he should be, or what he usually brings, but it was more complete, and he was hard, very hard.
Right.
But that was that. It was great. I mean, let me tell you something. When he won, I jumped out of my seat, man. Like I was so surprised at myself. I looked back and Tammy was like, "What?" Like I was like, I don't.
She's like, "What are you doing? Sit down."
She's like, "You never moved that fast in your life." I jumped out of my seat because I knew there was a new era coming, right? I knew that the big boys, and he's such a sweetheart, and I knew that a new era was coming, and I knew now that the pro division has a new role model. Okay. Not taking away anything from Brandon, not taking anything away from Phil. Okay. But, new blood is good. I like it.
So let's end on this then. You think that there's going to be a new look for the Olympia stage? That you think that the big boys are back? Do you think that's the direction that things are going to go again? Because if you remember, we went from a lot smaller guys, and then
you went from the Lee Haneys to the Dorians.
Ronnie came into the picture, and Ronnie was just gigantic.
Hold on, you went from the Lee Haneys to the Dorians. Then
you went from Lee Haney. I wasn't going back that far. Remember, I'm not as old as you.
Were you born yet?
No. Who do you think you're talking to?
Yeah. So you had the Lee Haneys, the shape, size,
right.
then size, totally awesome. Remember that? Then you had Dorian, just freak of nature, hard.
Yep.
And then you had Ronnie, the combination of Lee and Dorian, right? And then you had Phil, right? No, yeah, Jay. You had Jay.
Yeah, Jay was in between. Yes.
You have Jay, and then you had Phil. I believe with Big Ramy now you got what's his name? Nick Walker.
Yeah.
You got Nick Walker. You got this other guy called the Shed. He's in England.
Yep.
These guys are monsters, man.
Oh yeah.
These guys are monsters. Now, let's not create a Nasser El Somebody situation when Nasser would show up and he was so good the judges didn't know where to put him. Right? So, I do believe the big boys are going to come around. I do. But the thing is, they better keep those freaking waists small. They better not come out with those guts. I think there's some great athletes, man. There's some great athletes.
But
I'm
it's going to be interesting.
I'm looking forward to 2021 Olympia.
Yeah. I mean, if Ramy is going to be the new, poster boy for bodybuilding, you gotta look at what's Brandon going to do.
Yeah,
he's got to get bigger.
You think Phil's going to come back?
I got to be honest. I don't think he should. Here's my opinion of Phil right now. When you look at a complete bodybuilder, I thought he regressed a lot compared to when he was in his prime. You know, he sat out last year, the previous years when he lost to Sean. The year before that, I still don't think he was at his best. And that's when he started having his hernia issues. And you know, it just seemed to just go downhill from there.
Right.
He can't control his stomach. You know, his last Olympia when he went up against Sean, it looked like he wasn't conditioned at all.
Yeah,
Dude,
but
he was sweating.
Sean's
He
so
was
pretty though, man.
heavy. Oh, there's no denying Sean's look. It's phenomenal. But when you had Phil, who was the epitome, I mean, Phil could have won 10 if he wouldn't have had his hernia issue. I mean, his midsection was great, and then once he had that issue, it was game over. I mean, he was just never the same. And now that he's got that mesh in there, it's like, you know, it's like we said earlier, I don't think he's ever going to be the Phil that we remember. So I don't know. He's got so many things, you know, on his lap right now. Why come back? I mean, sure, if he loves it and he wants to endure the pain and suffering that goes along with it, more power to him.
Right.
But he's got other businesses. He's got other opportunities.
Does he?
Well, he's got his gifted athletics. He's got real estate. He's got a whole bunch of stuff that he can do. And it's not like he needs the money.
Listen, we all need the money because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow around the corner. So let me throw this at you. The best Flex Lewis we've seen so far. Where does he end up in that top 5 or in the Olympia?
You know, it's funny you bring that up because I was going to ask you the same question earlier when you were talking about Hottie and how his legs, you know, were there. You know, there's not much to them. There's not much sweep. Right. It's just kind of straight down, and then, like you said, you have the 2 teardrops. Flex Lewis at his best. Here's my take on Flex. In 212, he dominates. He's the biggest monster on stage for his size that's allowed. And I think he just cleaned house. I know he put on a lot of size in the off season. I mean, we saw the videos. He posted stuff on Instagram. Everyone kept saying he's going to win the Olympia. I didn't see it. To me, I look at Flex, and while he's so muscular, when he stands there, he's like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like looking at my microphone.
Right.
Which, with the mounts there, so that sucked with that analogy. But he's straight up and down from all angles. He turns around. He's straight up and down. But he's just so massive that it creates that block. So while I like his physique, I don't think it's a men's open winning physique.
Right.
I think he's missing a lot of the I can't say detail because he's very detailed.
Right.
Flex has a great physique. He really doesn't have any weak points.
I think the biggest mistake Flex did was stop competing. Really? And here's why. Yes. Here's why. You've never been down that rabbit hole as competing. Okay. When you're down that hole in the trenches, okay, you're used to that smell. You're used to that dirty, that grind. You're used to all of that. Okay. And you got your foot on that gas, pedal to the metal. Okay. You're going so fast and you're so deep into that hole, you don't know anything else. You see it, you live it, but you really don't recognize what's around you, okay? Flex lost that. He took his foot off that pedal, okay? And he realized that there's more to this, okay? It's very hard, and I believe that's why he backed out. And I'm saying it. I don't know, but I believe that's...
You don't think it's because of his shoulder? You think that was just an excuse?
You know what? I'm going to say yes. I when I heard Flex was not going to compete again, I said it's over. It's over. You can tell me one athlete in any sports that took time off. We're talking about the highest level of competition, right? Football, name it, you name it, that came back either from an injury or just came back out of retirement, that came back and started where you left off. Not one. You name it. Not one. Sorry.
Jordan was pretty close.
Who?
Jordan.
But he wasn't the same.
No.
He wasn't the same.
He was still championship caliber, though.
But he didn't win the championships. Did he? He won one? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. So what I'm saying is that, and again, no disrespect, to Flex. I'm just saying that I know that feeling, right? I know that feeling when you're down in that hole, when you're on that squat rack, when you're on that leg press, when you're on that hack squat, when you're doing those T-bars, right? It's not just that set. You are living that 24/7. That mindset is that grind. All of a sudden you have left that, right? It's very hard to go back there. It's hard to get on that leg extension and keep repping those sets out past that burn. It's hard. And when I heard he was going to come back, I heard that he wasn't going to compete. He backed out.
Right.
That's the first thing I said. And I stick to it. I stick to it that he couldn't go down that rabbit hole again. It wasn't coming together. Okay. Now, we've all had injuries. He's had injuries. We've all had injuries. Now, maybe use that time to say, hey, you know what? There's no way I'm going to go down that rabbit hole. Maybe let me just take care of my injuries. And he used that to pacify everything and move forward. I don't believe we'll see another Flex Lewis on stage.
You don't think he'll come back 2021?
No. No. He moved to Vegas.
I did not know that. I thought he was still in Florida.
Nope. He sold his gym, he sold his house, and they moved to Vegas. So he might be getting in the gaming industry. He might be doing something.
The gaming.
Else. Yeah.
Like video games?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was into that.
He's very active. So, and again, I'm not putting him down. It's just, I see it. I see it. And, it's hard. It's hard walking away and thinking you still could do it. And then when you try to go do it, it's not there. It's not there. Right. So, I would love to see him come back, but I wouldn't want to see him come back, get his ass kicked. I would walk away on top, literally just walk away on top. He doesn't, Kevin came back after so many years. Flex came back, but it doesn't matter. Kevin won. Kevin won a lot more coming back than he did all those other years. His heart, man, he did this. And you know what? His fans, everybody, it doesn't matter. He came dead last, dude, and that guy won. He won, So, so are you going to come 2021 Orlando? You're in Pennsylvania.
If that's where they're going to have it, then
you're in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I didn't like going to Vegas.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Vegas is not my thing. Yeah. I'm not, the party animal. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. We're going to hit this club. We're going to go to, this pool. And like, I'm not about that. I'm the dude who just likes to chill.
So you're going to come to Orlando?
Yeah. Then I can come train in the pit.
I'll kick your ass in. All right. So moving forward, do you think it'll be in Orlando? I do.
I think there has been a very big push because I know Dan has asked on social media. A lot of people, you have asked on social media what people thought, what their opinion was on Vegas versus Orlando. And I I think Dan has a case to keep it in
It would be
Orlando.
smart for them to keep it in Orlando at least this year, because I think Vegas is going to have more problems, and they can just focus on Orlando and give it a whole year, get it ready. I still think it'll be in December. Might be a little earlier in December.
Yeah, I
Uh,
hope so.
I also hear a lot of other shows are going to be in Orlando as well. So
Now keep it at the convention center or find a
yeah,
new
yeah,
venue.
no, that's I think that they give them the convention center. You know, it was easy. The only thing I didn't like was that the Hyatt didn't have anywhere to eat. It had two places, and they should have, maybe the restaurants would be open more. Um, going into the show next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if they have their time and they put this together well, I think it would be an amazing Olympia, and I think it could stay here for another 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, after this gets published, we'll make the announcement that Dan's bringing us on to be part of the Olympia team and help him figure it out for 2021. No.
Would you want that job?
Dan's job?
Yeah,
Hell no.
yeah.
Listen, I love
wouldn't want to be
bodybuilding. I love the Olympia, but no. Now, would I be opposed to helping in some aspect?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, what do you mean helping? What do you mean? Whenever you want, you come, and whenever you want, you leave? No, either you're in or you're out.
No. I mean, a role where I could actually be an asset to them.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would be.
Like, what would you do?
I don't know. It would have to be probably something content related.
Right.
But
you would write the scripts for everybody. You would write Dan's speech. But Dan writes.
yeah, Dan doesn't need my help with that. Dan's good at that. No,
Well,
but I don't know. I'm joking. But if Dan reached out to me and said I need help, I would definitely help him out.
Well, he's a good guy, and Tamer and all those other guys, his team they're doing an amazing job, and I know they got a big job for this year. Because last year they used COVID, they used a lot of excuses, they pulled it off. This year they might not have those excuses, so they really got to do a great job. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, we will end it there. Guys, what do you think? Orlando, Vegas, did Robbie earn it? Did Phil get robbed? Or did he get a gift at getting third? But let us know in the comments. Obviously, we have our Facebook page. You can feel free to let us know your thoughts and opinions over there. If you have any ideas on topics that you want us to cover. I mean, obviously, we're trying to cover fitness bodybuilding, but from a business standpoint. So if there's something, maybe it's personal training, maybe it's opening a gym. I mean, we kind of have our toes in everything. So if you have...
Our next episode is going to be how to invest in Bitcoin.
I'm screwed. You can do that one solo. But no, thank you guys. If you're watching us on YouTube, feel free to subscribe. You'll get notified every time that we come out on your feed with something new. If you're listening to a podcast, we appreciate it. Obviously, we're on iTunes, Spotify. I mean, you name it. Every platform that's out there for podcasts, we're on it. But we appreciate all the support. I guess we can say episode 2 of 2021 is in the books. So for Jimmy Mentis and myself, hope to see you guys in the next episode.
Peace.